impressed by the film. Obviously, a week later, I took my wife, so we've got to watch it. I'll take you to see it as well, and I've seen it multiple times now. And there are bits and bobs, like you say in the podcast, that are not perfect about the film, but I really enjoy it. I love how it's brought a fresh take on the series. Um, Creed 2, again, same feeling. I was like, oh, a little bit nervous at the start about, they're bringing Dolph Lundgren back. That's really good, but it's a little bit cheesy. It's a little bit cheesy, but I loved it again. And do you know what? I think just like all the Rocky films, there's so many great scenes in both those films. It's hard for me to choose my favourite out of the two. I'm going to sort of sit on the fence a little bit, which is a bit annoying. So I kind of enjoy both of them immensely.
Okay.
I really do. I really think they're brilliant intros. And my young son, who I've shown the Rocky films to, he's like 15 now. He's kind of that age where Creed really spoke to him in Creed 2, like with his friends and stuff. Like, yeah, this is cool, and had hip hop music and stuff. And it really, they've got a whole new generation of fans, which I think is amazing. The Creed films have brought so much to the Rocky saga, I think personally. So I am looking forward to Creed 3. Okay, I know, I'm even more nervous about the other two because of the lack of Stallone, most likely. But I'm still going to watch it, and I'm willing to give it the benefit of the doubt. That's my personal opinion.
All right,
Yeah.
so I just want to say really quickly here, if you're watching this video, because I just figured it out while you're talking, I got it working. So it was during the middle. So those who are just coming in and watching the video right away, like, why is Adrian in the middle of a sentence? It's because I got the video to figure out how to record on OBS. So this will be uploaded, I think, if it works, on YouTube after all. So Adrian was just expressing, of course, his feelings on Adrian. He's talking about himself. He was giving his feelings on Creeds 1 and 2, of course, and the Creed 3. This is Adrian. He did a guest host with me on the end of Rocky Balboa Season 6 on our show. But Adrian, before you get a little bit further, talk about just what podcast you run and the state of the podcast you're in and all that stuff, and then we'll continue with the discussion of the deleted scenes.
One of the hosts of Arcade Attack Retro Gaming Podcast, we've done it for like 4 years. We've decided very recently to take a little break. A lot of reasons. And it's actually, I want to ask you about it, Ryan, because when we used to record the bulk of our episodes, probably 90% of our episodes, we've done it in the flesh. We've gone around to each other's mates' houses, mic in the middle, beers flowing, having a chat, part of the evening, really fun. We've done a few Zoom episodes, which, I'll be honest, the downloads have been good. People are still listening. They still seem to enjoy it. But for us personally, it's not quite the same. So it's always going to be like a little stopgap until we're allowed to come back. Obviously, COVID's been longer than people expected. The impact, especially in the UK, I think it's impacted Canada quite badly as well, I think.
Yep.
Obviously, correct me if I'm wrong. We're not legally allowed to meet up, so we've decided to take a little break, recharge the batteries, and hopefully come back in the summer, I would say. That's our plan, at least.
Okay, well, that's actually understandable. It kind of segues into our Creed 2 premiere. For those who are listening to, obviously, of the show, myself, I'll be going to sea. I'm in the Navy, and I'm back on the coast, and my job for 2021 will entail me being gone for much of this coming year. So we're going to try to pump out what we can when we can. So there's going to be gaps. I just want our listeners to know that listen to the show, when every episode comes out each week, that don't panic. It's just going to be some breaks. I'll keep announcing that with every episode, because not everyone listens to every episode. But there's going to be, Creed 2 might take a while to get through, just because I won't be here half the year, and thus I won't be able to record. I can't record at sea on the ship. So, yeah, c'est la vie, as they say. Yeah.
You've got gaps. I've got gaps.
Yeah, but together we're not filling any gaps. So.
No. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Well, thank you for that. And I enjoyed doing the interview on your show, so that was great. It was fun to do.
It's been popular, Ryan. I don't know if it's translated to any extra listens for you, but there's been a lot of good feedback, and
good.
Good on you. I really appreciate it coming on the show.
Yeah. Well, no one listens to my show, but I appreciate you coming on. And I appreciate you letting me come on your show. So that was fun. I actually had a great time. It's probably the most downloads I've ever had was being on your show. I think the most people's ever heard me is on your show. No, I'm just joking. Well, actually, I'm not joking, but I appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to go over a couple of the. I'm glad OBS is working now because we're going to go over some of the deleted scenes, and so we're going to watch deleted scenes. This won't be in chronological order. I just went on YouTube, hit Creed deleted scenes, whatever comes up, we're going to watch. I know there's a few, and we'll just say what were our thoughts on the scene, should have stayed in the film, and of course for our audio listeners, we'll express what's happening and what the setup is. And I haven't seen these, or if I have seen these, it's been a long time, so I'm going to kind of like it's like a reaction video in some ways. I'm going to watch the scene with you, and we'll say to ourselves, should this have stayed in the movie or not? And okay, so the first one is called Rocky Remembers. I'll describe the scene after. Okay, so right there for that opening shot there, you got Rocky holding a cup of coffee or something. It's winter in Philadelphia. He's gone out to his front part of his house, and there's a punching bag covered in snow, and he gives a little bit of a half-hearted punch, runs his arm up or runs his hand up and down the pole, reminiscing about punching that bag, I guess. And that's the same kind of setup that he had in Rocky Balboa, I think, outside his house there.
And also Rocky 5, when he sort of stumbles into Mickey's gym, he's just sort of punching it and just remembering the good old days, maybe.
Sure, yeah. So far, I like that little shot there. I like that scene.
I like how the snow's on it. It's almost like that punch. Probably days. It could be days with the snow, but it all represents a lot.
Okay, hold up one sec. It's not your fault, but we just got really bad interference there on the internet. Are you still there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
That was...
frozen, isn't it?
Yeah, it did. That's okay. So just say again, for our video watchers, they'll think it's kind of funny, but it was really long. I don't know why the light kicked like that. This is hotel internet still. So, all right, say that part again about the snow.
Oh, do you want... Yeah, so I also think the snow's quite clever on top of the punch bag. So it kind of represents that, well, the snow could have been there for a matter of days, but it feels like a long time, like it's settled, it hasn't been punched for a long time. It's very clever directing.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, so keep watching the scene here. So now he's walked down into, I guess, his cellar or something in his house? Some sort of, like, man cave in the cellar? Okay, I think I have seen this deleted scene. He's pulling out some VHS tapes, looking through some boxes of memorabilia. Looking for something in particular. He found a tape. Okay. Do you still have a VCR in your house?
Long gone.
Yeah.
I'm retro, but not that retro.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah. So he's watching the first Rocky fight. The bicentennial fight in Rocky 1. What I always love when movies do this, when they watch a movie scene in their movie, but they're watching what the film was to us as an audience, not what the actual fight would have looked like on...
It's brilliant.
Yeah, if that makes sense. It's kind of... There's no way around it, though.
Yeah, he's just watching... Yeah.
Oh, he had enough of that. Turned it off. So that part of him watching the fight, you can cut that part out. But I like the part of him outside. I like that shot still. So they could have cut out the part of him putting on the VHS tape. That's unnecessary.
I guess we're assuming this happened just after Adonis met him in the restaurant. Would you say?
That's a good point. Yeah, we should say when we think it was. That's a great point. I think that's exactly right. So it kind of triggered in him the memories of Apollo. Nice looking at old wedding photos of him and Adrian. Oh, he's looking at. Yeah, he's still looking at news clippings of him and Apollo. And there's Adrian. I love that picture of Talia Shire.
Yep.
Now that I'm seeing this on YouTube, I've noticed Creed, for whatever reason, it's filmed really dark. And I noticed that when we were doing our review of the film, I will admit, I was using a free streaming service, like basically a pirated service online, so I could show the movie as I own the movie, so I don't feel guilty doing that. But it's just for the sake of the podcast, and I stream it so that me, Kyle, and Katie can watch it as we're doing now. But watching the same clip, deleted scene on YouTube, it occurs to me that I think the film itself was filmed dark. Like, it seems dark, except for the fights and some of the outside scenes, but the indoor scenes, like right here, look how dark that is.
It must be intentional. You wouldn't. Maybe it's just trying to make it a bit more edgy. You know, when I think of the original Rocky films, bright, colourful, in your face. Maybe it was trying to be a bit more kind of, I don't know, down to earth, possibly.
Yeah,
you're right.
So what did you think? Keep that scene or chop it up like we said? Keep some of it.
It was well directed and well acted. Actually, it was subtle, and it was only 2 minutes, 3 minutes. You know, I'm going to be guilty of probably saying chuck in every single scene because the more Rocky the better. But I think there's a place for it. There's a place for that scene. It's quite nice. A little bit more about how Rocky's feeling about being a bit low, reminiscing about the old days, and maybe this is a spark he needs. But then maybe that would take a little bit away from the gravestone scene with Adrian, with the newspaper. That was that was almost like the switch. You know, you don't almost want two. Oh, maybe that's what I'm kind of thinking.
Okay, I will meet you halfway, as they say in Over the Top. And do
you know what? Sorry, Ryan.
Yeah.
I was given for my birthday. My friend Keith got me the Over the Top novel. I'm reading it right now. I've almost finished it. I'm not even joking.
I hate that movie. I'm sorry. I would rather watch Stop or My Mom Will Shoot. I know it's loved, but I think it's loved more. I don't know. I think if you give it an honest review, come on.
Yeah. I'm enjoying the novel more than the film. That's saying something.
Don't get me started on Over Top review. Check out our Over the Top review if you haven't already. All right. So this
I didn't mean to interrupt you. Sorry.
No. Yeah. How dare you speak on the podcast? The next deleted scene is referred to as The Name. So, of course, it's Bianca and Adonis. And looks like Bianca's apartment.
Is that all right?
Only time I've been knocked out. Well,
You ready to go?
she ain't gonna pick up.
Is he talking about calling his mom?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, okay, yeah. So he's calling Mama Creed. She's not answering. Oh, she is. Okay.
Hello?
Mom. I'm surprised you picked up. How you been?
I'm fine. How you been? I see you're fighting.
With Balboa, of all people. Lucky you.
Are you happy?
Yeah, you know, me and Rock, we've been training. I won my first fight. Yeah. Found this girl I really like. I'm getting that.
Just breathe in the mic there, Agent, just so you know.
So-
FYI.
What's up?
They're trying to set up my next fight. Thing is, they want to use your name.
Oh, okay.
So I thought it was only right for me to call you and see what you thought about it.
It's your name, too.
But this should have been in the film.
Who are you fighting?
Colin.
Did you say Conlon?
Yeah, pretty Ricky.
Adonis, have you lost your mind? Do you know who this man is?
That is too much reach. Too many years of experience. This man will break every bone in your
Look,
body.
Mom, listen, I ain't called to argue. All right? Put on some weight. Been in the gym training hard. Watching a lot of tape, so.
Well, I hope that tape serves you in the ring, honey. When you stand face to face with men pounding you.
Okay, listen, if you don't want me to do it, I won't. You had a name. They're just telling me that the fight is dependent on it, so. I wanted your blessing.
The name means nothing. I don't care about the name. I care about you. But these people, they care about money. This is a blood sport.
And they will use you in any way they can. And when they're done, it's your
Family that has to come and pick up the pieces and clean up the mess. You cannot beat this man.
But you know what? You and Rocky, go ahead. Do whatever it is you want to.
Ooh, she just hung up on him.
At least you picked up.
All right, so right off the bat, that should have been in the movie.
I like the scene. One thing maybe that annoyed me a little bit, or Brian, you might disagree, but do you think Marianne would know much about Condon? I know he's a heavyweight champion, but boxing at this time wasn't huge. You know, it's not the biggest sport as it used to be in the day. Would she, and especially with Apollo Creed dying, would she keep an eye on what's going on in the boxing world? Maybe. I just think if he said maybe I'm fighting the heavyweight champion, the current champ, maybe I'm talking rubbish, but it seemed a bit weird that she knew so much about Ricky Condon already. That made sense.
No, you're absolutely spot on. I had the exact same thought. We're on the same page. So everything, you're absolutely right. Had they retweaked that, they should have made it. You're right. They made Marianne seem like she's just totally up to date with all the boxers and everyone's like stats and abilities. She's still somehow involved, even though she hates the sport so much. So it would have been better totally agree, had she said, so you're going to fight this guy's champion. You know he's gone through what he's had to be champion. What makes you think you're there right now? They're doing this because of the name. It's the blood sport. So everything else would have made sense. So I agree. That's the weakest part of that scene. But that we've said it before on our, as you know, on our show, that more Felicia Rashad, the better.
She's a great actress. She steals the scenes, doesn't she? Some people are born that way. When you see them on TV or the cinema, they just literally draw your attention. She's a great actress, and she really brought a lot to Creed and Creed 2 films, I think. Yeah, more the better. But obviously, it wasn't her fault she had to say those particular lines a little bit. But the Creed concept, the name was brilliant.
Yes, I love that he's asking for the blessing and how she referred to boxing as a blood sport. It's just about the money. She's not wrong. And then she said, like, it's your family. At the end of the day, it's there to pick up the pieces. And that's really what life is, right? When we say this to my kids, I'm sure you said it to your kids, when they go through hard times with friends or whatever. So you know what, guys? It's icing on the cake if you can make friends outside of your family. Because at the end of the day, it's your family that will be there at the end.
And I dragged all my friends and family to watch the first Creed film. And Creed 2. I did it again. Most of them really enjoyed it.
Oh, good.
I had one friend that fell asleep during Creed 2, by the way, in the cinema. But apart from that,
are you still friends with him?
yeah, just about. I'm going to name and shame. It's Kevin. Kev, mate, don't do that again.
Yeah, gee, that's disrespectful. All right. All right, the next one is called Talking to Adrian. So that sets it up. So it's obviously Rocky at the gravesite. I hope it's at the gravesite.
Yeah.
Doctor say I got this cancer. Is
Oh.
that something? Didn't see that come. I'm okay with it. I just wish I had done a better job with the kid. I didn't raise him right. My old man, I remember when he was dying and laying there, and he goes, hey, you know what, don't hold a grudge and be nice to people, And I said, now you tell me? Now? The way you raised me, just the opposite. So that's the way I think I passed it on,
Whoa. Okay, whoa. I have not seen this scene. This is like blowing my mind right now.
Love it. I love it.
Okay, lots going on here, and we've talked ad nauseum. In fact, we just had a discussion, Katie and I, on our last episode together, where we read an email from Patrick Mantel saying that he feels, and we agreed with his email, saying that essentially the Rocky wasn't a bad father. Like at least the evidence actually in the films, what we actually physically see in the films, he's not that bad of a father any more than Robert wasn't that great of a son. But here we have a deleted scene, which now begs the question. We brought up in part or season 6 at the end. There are deleted scenes canon.
Well, I remember you talking about how his father, we found out he's in jail, wasn't it? I think that was from Rocky Balboa.
Yeah.
And I love it. I love this. I love to learn more about Rocky's parents.
Yes.
I think that's an unknown quantity.
We just found out that Rocky was at his father's bedside, his deathbed.
And it sounds like it's the only time we can hear the rest of the scene later where his dad was actually giving him wise words. You know, why now? Why'd you wait so long?
So he's on his deathbed, and often as we hear, or we see in films and stuff, but we hear in real life about people on their deathbeds saying, deathbed confessionals they call it, right? Where they say, don't worry about this, and you shouldn't do this. And like, now that I'm staring life at the end here, all the things we thought were important aren't. And again, all that's important is don't hold a grudge, be kind, be good to your family, because at the end, that's all that matters. So Rocky's now feeling guilty about he has cancer. He thinks in his mind death could be on the doorstep, and he's got a bad relationship with his son. So I'm just going to go back a little bit. I want to hear that again.
The people, I said, now you tell me? Now? The way you raised me, just the opposite. So that's the way I think I passed it on, But this kid, he's a nice kid, smart kid, young. Kind of
Talk about Adonis.
reminds me of me, fast, maybe smarter and all that. But he got nobody. I got nobody. And I like to leave something behind. I keep taking everything. Got to leave something. That's what it's all about, right? So if you don't mind, and I know you don't, I don't know if I'm going to win. I don't know. Really, I don't even know if I'm going to beat this thing. But I'm going to try. Most of all, I want to be in this corner. I love you. Love you, Adrian.
Okay. Couple of interesting things here. So it started off really, really good, seeing the background of him and his father. The only problem is he talked about Adonis at the end there.
Yeah.
Sorry, got an internet connection. Are you okay there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I can hear. Okay.
Okay. So I kind of wish. So he was feeling guilt about his son, which is understandable. But then he segued into like, I want to be here for this kid because he has nobody, which isn't entirely true. He has Marianne. He has a mom. And he has some half siblings that we're not seeing in the films, but there's no reason to indicate that he doesn't have maybe he doesn't have a relationship with his half siblings, but I don't know why he wouldn't. He was raised in the same home as them. And then lastly, he's like, oh, I want to leave something behind. And, because I just take from the world, I want to leave something behind, which is a great thing. But he should have said, had I written this film, that's fine. But he should have said, after I beat this thing and I'm in the corner for Adonis for this battle, I'm going to win my son back. Yeah. I think that would have been better. He should have said, I realize now that I'm here for Adonis. He doesn't have anybody like to help him through this fight. ... After this fight, I'm going to win my son back. But
yeah. Well, I don't want to spoil the end of Creed 2, but obviously, I guess now they didn't know at this point that Creed 2 would be made, if I'm being honest. So would that have left a little bit of not a cliffhanger, but, don't know. That scene works well now, knowing that we've got Creed 2 coming, if that makes sense. It's like a little comma, a little place to go after this. So I agree. I quite like that scene, but maybe she just kept it about the son. Mixing Adonis into the mix seemed a little bit, don't know. I do agree with you, Ryan.
And we do learn through the little research that we do, but Stallone, he did write all the Rocky dialogue. So that whole scene was all Stallone writing.
I wonder when his father died. I wonder when this deathbed scene happened. In what Rocky universe timeline was that happening? Maybe it was before Rocky one. I don't know.
If I was to guess, it was before he was 30.
Mm.
You know, so if we want to do what little we know from the Rocky films, deleted scenes, essentially, his dad went to jail. He was at the Arches. He went to jail, got out of jail, suffered some sort of maybe cancer, who knows, or some sort of just health issues, alcoholism, who knows what he had. But he was on a deathbed, and Rocky maybe went to leg break and stuff after his father's death. But we still don't have any word on the mother, how she went or when she went. But we don't have a timeline, so...
No.
Interesting. Very interesting. Okay, so let's see the next one here. So here's a scene between Adonis and Rocky. This one's called That's a Good Start.
Yo, Donnie. When'd you get home?
Early.
Uh-huh.
Had to think some things through.
Like what?
Did you know
About what?
that Apollo was cheating on Marianne?
No, I didn't know that. No. Your father was a great man to me.
Yeah, he wasn't great enough.
You know, Donnie, until you walk in another guy's shoes.
I wasn't trying to walk in his shoes. That's what I was trying to stay away from. Now every move that I make, every punch that I throw, everything's gonna be compared to him.
But so what? I think you got the talent. I believe in you. Do you believe in yourself? Say it.
I believe in myself.
Okay, that's a good start. It's a good start.
Oh, that was the phone call before the offer to
From
fight. Yeah.
the manager. Yeah. Well, yes, of course. We see that bit when he walks. Yeah.
Another scene. Why did they keep that in? That was amazing. I love how they directly just said, like, did you know? Did you know that that Apollo was cheating on Marianne? That took a minute.
Yeah, that's great. And actually, it's something that was quite interesting. And I think Rocky wouldn't lie. I don't think Rocky lies hardly ever in any of the Rocky series. So I think he's being honest when he didn't know. Or maybe he did lie to protect. I don't know. I don't think he's lying though. But yeah, they should have kept that in 100%.
Agreed. They should have kept that in. All right, great scene, great acting. It's funny. It's funny that I'm saying this now, but seeing these scenes of Adonis, these deleted scenes, it makes me like him a little bit more. I don't know. Like, I think it's adding to his character, some of his angst more than that we saw in the film. Mm-hmm. I think it did a disservice to the character, taking out his questions.
Well, I remember you saying in earlier episodes you don't quite understand his. I don't know what the word is, but yeah, his motivation and the background of his mindset. But this kind of adds to it, and it'll make that final scene in Creed even more powerful. It builds up that angst inside him, that boost inside him almost. Yeah, yeah. So I agree. All that adds up to the character.
All right, this next deleted scene is called Adonis Leaves Home. Now, this might be a visual only, so we'll describe it after we watch it. So just looking at a newspaper article, I love that. It says here, Apollo Creed trains formal rival. Heavyweight champ takes on new challenge. I love it. It's a newspaper clipping from, I guess, from the events of Rocky 3, but the picture is their press conference of Rocky 1.
Yeah.
I wish we could read the print on that.
I can't see the date. Wednesday, April the 6th, 19... I can't read it.
82. Looks like it looks, yeah, April 6th, 82.
Brilliant.
That's awesome. So we know the events of Rocky 3 took place April of 82. That's all. Well, we should say, so Adonis is just going through, it looks like kind of his home, Marianne's estate, and this looks like probably Apollo's kind of man cave museum type thing. There's like trophies, paintings.
Which we do see. I don't know if it's the same room or the same layout. We see that in Creed too, don't we? I don't know if it looks quite similar first glance, truthfully.
Yeah, same idea. So if it's not quote unquote the same set, that's probably in the Rocky universe. It's the same room. Yeah, where it shows all the Apollo Museum. Oh. And then it cuts to is going to Philly. Okay.
Yeah. It gives him that spark, the idea. Obviously, he's done that boxing bit of the YouTube before this, I'd assume. But seeing that newspaper clipping, getting that idea that Rocky did train his dad was a real kind of inkling to go to Philly.
Oh, there you go. Huh. So again, that's the scene that might have been worth keeping, where we get why did he know to look up, or why did he think to look up Rocky in Philly?
I mean, he would have heard before, surely, that he helped train him in, YouTube and whatnot. But still, keep it. 50 seconds. What's wrong with keeping that?
I don't know. All right, this one here, it just says Creed deleted scene. I don't know. We're going to kind of go in cold because it doesn't look like it's deleted scene. I think that might have been it. I'm just looking down here. Again, I'm just doing whatever YouTube shows me. They got a lot of...
They show a lot of Creed from The Office, and I quite like him as a character. But I don't know if you've seen The Office, but...
Oh, I love The Office, yeah. Okay, well here's one here. It says Creed, Adonis, Johnson, hot kiss. Okay. There we go. Let's see this one.
This must be where all the cool kids come in.
No, it's just the artists enter. And there's the closest thing they have to green room, and that door, that's where you're going.
Mm-hmm. You nervous?
Yeah, I always get nervous. But I think it's a good thing. What about you? You get nervous when you fight?
Nah.
Really? I mean, how could you not? It's so dangerous.
Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah.
I mean, what I do, I just picture the audience naked.
Oh. Okay.
Just...
Right. Something tells me that's not a good idea tonight.
All right, well, you got a show, so,
I too, yeah.
Good luck.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for the walk, too.
All right.
Those sounds you're hearing are kissing sounds. Ooh.
What's up, Bianca?
Oh, an unheard song. We haven't heard this one.
A real treat for Ryan.
Oh. Is that really her singing?
Yeah, I reckon it is.
Oh, man. Can you imagine being at this show, listening to this? I'd be embarrassed if that was my girlfriend.
Sorry for Bianca, sorry.
All right. So there you go, audience. You got to hear a little bit of an unheard track if you haven't seen this deleted scene from Bianca's great repertoire of songs there.
That's the weakest deleted scene so far, I think, personally. There's no need for that.
No, I mean, it's a little bit of a chit-chat. Are you nervous in the fights? And da-da-da. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Agreed. All right, just going down here. I think that might be.
That might be it.
Oh, some behind the scenes stuff here. So that scene we talked about this. That scene where Adonis hits the mat when he gets first the knockdown in the final fight against Pretty Boy.
Yep.
that's really Michael B. Jordan. He really got knocked out.
I mean, and he came. Yeah, it's amazing. Keeping it in the film, I love it. I love the first bit in Rambo when they show him breaking his ribs, and they kept that in, didn't they? And that authenticity, I think, adds to it. What did you? I haven't heard the final one. What did you think about how he kind of sprung up almost out of nowhere? Was that a little bit silly in your eyes, or just? For me personally, I was like, yeah, the adrenaline was so pumping, I quite enjoyed it. But you don't. It's not really possible, surely.
We did talk about it. I don't think any one of us mentioned that we thought it was silly, but we did mention that it was done right when he saw his father in his mind. And so the question that we asked ourselves was, maybe you give your thoughts on it, because that's it for deleted scenes, I think. If I missed one, I apologize, but I think it's the majority of them there. What are your thoughts then on him seeing his father? Was he channeling his father? Was he becoming his father? Or was he acknowledging his father as his father? What's your thoughts? Like, what drew that inspiration for him?
Yeah, I think there was a connection there. I think he had so much baggage in his brain about his dad and his past, and obviously the big ending when he says, I just didn't want to be a mistake. Oh, it's so powerful. Yeah, I actually agree. I think he was channeling Apollo Creed's spirit. I know it's a little cheesy, but I do think there's a bit into it now. I really do. And I loved it. I was because I'm a huge Apollo Creed fan. Probably after Rocky, my favorite Rocky character.
Oh, he's great. Yeah.
So he's amazing. Carl Weathers, what one actor.
Yeah.
I loved it. I know there was rumours, and again, this is a little bit into Creed 2, that they wanted to bring him back as kind of a ghost, and maybe that would have been a little bit too far.
Well, there was rumors. Actually, no, was it Creed 2 those rumors that they were going to do some de-aging of Carl Weathers?
Yeah, I think so, yeah. Which I would have liked to have seen, but maybe not necessarily a ghost of Carl Weathers.
More of a memory like they did with Mickey.
Yeah. Exactly.
So, yeah, there's all the deleted scenes. Was there anything that you wanted to share regarding the Creed movie itself? Something you thought maybe we missed or we got wrong with our discussion?
Well, no, nothing you got wrong, and I haven't heard your final scenes. I don't know if you've said this, but I just think there's some interesting links to Everton Football Club and the Creed films. I don't know if you know about this. I'm not an Everton fan, I'm an Arsenal fan. But obviously the final fight was filmed at the Everton Stadium. I know that Sly Stallone is good friends with the owner of the football club.
Oh.
And yeah, really, I don't know the owner's name top of my head, but he has been to quite a few Everton games. And they filmed a lot of the crowd scenes during halftime of a real football match.
Yeah, we did bring that up, where someone brought that up through no fault of your own because it hasn't been released yet, but I think somebody brought that up in an email, but I didn't know, it wasn't brought up that they were friends, though, that Sly was friends with the owner.
Yeah, no, and Tony Belly is a huge Everton fan, as I'm sure you're aware. Huge fan. And there was a connection there already, so they kind of know each other, but there's that connection there between the clubs. And really interesting that it's like a split screen. I think I sent you a picture of the gentleman. The owner, not the owner, the manager of Everton at the time, Roberto Martinez. He's actually in this. You can see him as a member of the crowd. In the final fight.
Okay.
And now he's been sacked by Everton since. He's not the current manager, but he now manages Belgium's national football team.
Oh.
Who I think, and I might be wrong here, but they were at one point, they might still be, are ranked as FIFA's best football team in the world. Unbelievable, eh?
Oh, wow, there you go.
But they haven't won anything. It's just they've I think they're number one in the FIFA rankings, Belgium. So it's absolutely incredible.
That's interesting.
And another little bit of fact, and it really ties into me because I'm from Croydon, is just part of Croydon's Thornton Heath, like kind of sort of north end of Croydon. Krept and Conan are from that area, so they've done the opening scene to Ricky Conlon's Coming In, that hip hop music kind of stuff, and they're really quite popular. I'm a teacher, so a lot of my students know Krept and Conan. They really respect them, like local lads. They've done really well with the hip hop scene.
Okay.
Not really my cup of tea when it comes to music, but I appreciate the song in Creed. I think it's got a good beat to it. But yeah, they're only up the road, and they've released a Creep and Cones ice cream shop as well. So they're good entrepreneurs actually. So respect.
Good for them. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I love it. I love all this. I love Creed because there's a few little bits that really brought it back. And like I said, a lot of my students, when I kept saying, "Oh, you fans of Rocky before that or whatever," but now they're like, "Yeah, I like the Creed films." So it's really quite cool, actually.
Well, that's what we said. We've mentioned a couple times that I don't want the Creed films to ever do poorly, and the criticisms that we've hurled at the first film is only I don't know. I guess I know Greg the First. We've had some battles with him on our emails, but that's good. It's good discussion. I like it, and I know that it has a fan base, and I think myself and Katie. I'm not trying to speak for her, but I think we probably we push back a little bit and on it, only to provide discussion points and things where we thought it could have been better. I know I've said it 100 times, but I think a better performance. We say better actor, maybe just a better performance from Michael or better direction from him might have made him more likable. But but the funny thing is, I'm on social media and Facebook, what have you, and I read. I follow a couple of movie entertainment pages, and just today there was it said Tessa Thompson begins filming Thor 4 or whatever, right? And half the comments were she's a terrible actress. And
wow.
Yeah, so it's not just me. It's not just because I'm a Rocky fan. It's just because I'm doing a Creed podcast that I push back a little bit on Tessa Thompson and Michael B, because I've read it in many comments from other people unassociated with the films or the Creed films. They'll just talk about them as actors. They're uninspiring, not great actors. At least they're split.
Yeah. I might slightly disagree in a little way, Ryan.
Sure, please. Yeah.
I personally think Michael B. Jordan is not a terrible actor. I think he's quite a subtle actor.
Okay.
In the sense that he's never... And this is nothing against the Rocky films, but there's some very strong characters. Paulie, Apollo, almost charisma oozing from every pore. I think Michael B. Jordan is quite a subtle actor in the sense that you've got to, slow and steady. He's never looking to burst out the scenes necessarily. But I think I'm a little bit biased because I've seen Fruitvale Station, which is an incredible film, and he was very good in that. But he's one again. It's quite slow, and you see his character sort of develop slowly. I think it's if you get a chance, give that film a little watch. You can probably see him maybe at his best in that particular.
Yeah, well, look, I can't act, so I'm not gonna. But I hate when people say, "Oh, let's see you go act." Well, no, I can't act, but it doesn't mean I can't have an opinion about a performance. But no, he wasn't bad. Like, I think as the movie went on, as our review went on, we were less critical. I think his character grew on us in a sense. But I know in Creed 2, because I remember vividly watching Creed 2, of course, for the first time in the theaters, 2018, thinking to myself, oh, I'm liking them much better than I thought I was going to. Because I remember the feelings I had well before I started this podcast in 2015 about the feelings I had about Bianca and Adonis' characters, that I didn't have those same feelings after watching Creed 2. So something happened. It's been a couple years since I've seen Creed 2. I saw it in 2019 is the last time I saw it, actually. So I'm looking forward to watching it again for Season 8. And I suspect we'll have very little criticism, comparatively speaking, to their performances. I don't think it's due to less screen time, because we have a lot of new characters in Part 2 of Creed. But I just remember thinking they were better with each other as a married couple, with their kid. I love the storyline with the kid and the...
Right.
Yeah. So, yeah. It very... it was our most polarizing season in some ways. I feel bad. I hope we didn't lose any listeners over it, but maybe.
No, you've got to be honest. You don't want to go into a podcast and just sort of go, yeah. Everything's roses and rainbows. You've got to be honest. And I like how you are fair to the films. You always dissect it and you say, this is good, this is bad. And it's opinion-based, it's subjective.
Yeah.
But I think if you kept saying this is the best thing since sliced bread every episode, what's the point? You've got
right.
we all love all the Rocky saga. We love this Rocky series.
Oh yeah.
But it's like anything; it's not perfect. It's almost perfect. The first film, I think, that is arguably.
Well,
perfect,
that is perfect. Yeah, I can't find anything wrong with that first one.
No, yeah.
The only thing I wish they would change now, but only because they can't, but they didn't know this was going to be the case in 2021, is that the only controversy is that stupid arm across the door scene.
Yeah.
Like, we all know there's nothing intended there. We all understand that. But when you watch it through 2021 eyes, I understand. Like, an 18-year-old girl watches that today, and she's like, I don't feel comfortable, And when you hear those words, I don't feel comfortable, I don't belong here. Like, we know it's Adrian saying that. We know her as a character. Like, we understand what she's saying. You know, she's a virgin and she's scared and she's crazy about Rocky, but she's terrified at the same time. We see it for what it's supposed to be, but 2020 we're like, oh, Rocky should have said, well, that's okay. Yeah, today would have been written. I apologize. If you want to go, I understand. We can do this some other day. Like that's how it would have been written today.
Yeah.
But
Let me just call Paulie first.
Yeah, you Paul, your sister's with me. And then today would have been like, no, I would really like to text them. I appreciate it if you gave me a freaking phone. Yeah, I know. Oh well, but that's it. Is there? What's your? Well, actually, the question I asked some of the other patrons who came in, and we want to thank you for your patronage. So I should say that you weren't there for the season finale, so to speak, but you got a whole episode dedicated to you.
Appreciate it.
What's are you going to stick around for the Rambo coverage when we get to it?
Oh yeah, I love it. I do love the Rambo films. They actually, I think they're going a similar arc to the Rocky films in a way. They start really gritty and raw, really good story, get a little bit silly,
Right.
and then try and come back down to earth again. Then arguably the last Rambo film is a little bit silly, but I love them all. I love them all in their own little way.
Right.
actually.
Here's a hot take for our listeners to tease the seasons. My least favorite Rambo film was Part 4.
Really?
Yeah.
A lot of people think that's maybe the second best one.
You know, it's funny. It's funny. A lot of people think Rambo 4 is kind of like a Rocky 4 Creed combination. It's got the grittiness of a Creed film with the craziness of a Rocky 4 film. And I understand what they're saying, but I don't want to give away too much because we're going to get there in a long time from now. But with Rambo 4, to me, it's a missed opportunity film. I found it more frustrating. It ended a half hour early, and there was much more to do. And I think that if any film was cut too short, too quickly, everything that was shown I liked, but I felt like, where's the another 20? Why are we stopping here? You stopped too soon. So, I'll just say it really quickly because we're going to talk about it. But I just, the big fight, yeah, everyone talks about the big gun battle. I love that. We all love that big.
Famous machine gun.
Sure,
That was
the 50
incredible.
cal, going through everyone. Loved it. Of course I loved it. But they should have said, okay, now let's go to the bad guy's base and have like a recon mission type thing. They should have done that and then more hand-to-hand, in-your-face type Rambo fighting, which we got in Part 5. So ironically, that's what I liked about Part 5 is they did that secretive traps, the Rambo stuff that you get from the other films you got in Part 5. So I actually like Part 5 quite a bit because
I do.
I like the face-to-face, gut ripping out, throat breaking necks. It had all that great stuff, which I love. The only thing that Rambo 5 didn't have was, of course, the long hair, and everyone gets panicky because there's no long hair on Rambo.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, there's my little hot takes, but I look forward to covering the Rambo films.
Well, I'm happy to come on to the odd Rambo episode if you want me. 'Cause I'm a big fan. I am a big fan of the Rambo films.
And it's going to be interesting to cover. I don't think they'll take us long, if that makes sense. We're going to go through them the same way, but I don't think they'll take as long because I'm not a Rambo nerd. Meaning I haven't seen them half as much as I've seen the Rocky films, though I enjoy them very much. I just don't know if there's too much they're not very deep. There's not a lot of, there's not, the first one will probably be the longest. Yeah, the layers, thank you, yeah. So the first one, more layers, absolutely. But as they go on, there'll be it's going to be a lot of like, there's a helicopter explosion. There's it's going to be very little to talk about the motives of the Russian helicopter pilot, but
Do you know what I was watching recently? I don't know if you've seen the Cobra Kai series, Warren. I don't know if you're a fan.
I'm on the first season. I'm slowly but surely get through it, but I am watching
I might
it.
spoil it for you a little
That's
bit.
fine.
In series 3, they do some flashbacks of John Kreese in Nam.
Okay.
And I thought that was very clever, getting his backstory. And I actually think there's flashbacks in the first Rambo film, wasn't it? Him in Nam.
Yeah.
I almost want to see a film of a young Rambo in Nam. I think that'd be like a prequel. I think
We all
that'd be
do.
awesome.
We all do. And obviously it's a recast. And
Yeah, it couldn't be.
no, but Milo Ventimiglia would have been perfect, but he's getting too old now. He's 40,
Yeah.
so he's too old for a Rambo. Because Rambo was 17 or 18 in Vietnam. So, they'd have to cast somebody young. But I think we'd all love to see what made Rambo. Colonel Troutman trained him. Remember, we trained him to be a killer. All this stuff. Yeah. So we'll talk about that during the during that. Is a Mickey prequel and the Rambo vet or Rambo in Vietnam prequel are the two prequels that still need to be made. And the good news is that there's no rush because you're just going to cast an unknown young actor at any point anyway. So yeah.
Someone that can grow a mullet, hopefully. That's part of the.
Well, he's in the military. He wouldn't have one then.
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
All right, brother. Well, is there anything you want to plug or leave us with before you take off?
No, I mean, if anyone's into gaming, we've got over 200 episodes of the Arcade Attack podcast. Feel free to go back. We will come back. That's our plan, Rocky style. We're not down yet. We're just taking a little breather. So there you go. If anyone wants to check out some retro gaming goodness, Arcade Attack.
Yeah, you have a huge library, and I've enjoyed the episodes that I've listened to. Like I've said before, I listen to the ones with the games that I know. So a lot of the Sega Genesis games and those type of games I did play, so I did know them. I was a Sega guy. And you cover Rocky games, so check out those episodes. Huge library. There's nothing wrong with taking a break. You're not obligated to release an episode every week. People get it
was tough.
It is tough, and people need to understand that too. That it's well, for me anyways, and I think for you, it's a hobby and it's fun, and you want to provide fun for people. But at the end of the day, it's a hobby, and if people like you, which I think they do, they'll come back when you guys come back in the summer.
Yeah, we've had some real positive. Everyone's saying, take a little break, come back stronger.
Yeah. All right.
We'll do it.
All right, brother. It was good having you.
Loved it. Yeah, no, brilliant. Can't wait for Creed 2 as well. So keep doing the good work, and I can't wait to hear the intro music for Creed 2. Have you got a song up your sleeve for that?
Yeah, I've already did some research on YouTube yesterday. So there's some good ones. I'm not going to lie to you. All right. Do you want to take us out?
Ding, ding.
Nice. All right, I'm just going to stop recording.